Before we go into the Smoky Mountains, let me ask you something. If you're a parent, drop a comment, because what I'm about to tell you will hit different if you've ever held your child while they cried for you. And if this story makes you question who the real monsters are, hit that like button. Now let's talk about the worst decision I ever made in my life. My name is David Corporal Michael Williams. I've been serving as an explosives expert in the Army Commandos for over 8 years. I'm going to tell you something that will make you question everything about your identity. About whether the person you see in the mirror is really you. About whether the memories in your mind are truly yours. And why the Bigfoot family that killed them wasn't the monster in this story. We were. This happened in October 2023. Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Tennessee-North Carolina border. 8 Marines on a cross-training exercise. Search and rescue operations. Wilderness survival. Mountain navigation. Standard training rotation. We'd done it a dozen times before. Our team consisted of me, Staff Sergeant David Reynolds, Sergeant Maria Gutierrez, Corporal Brian Chen, Corporal Sarah Williams, Lance Corporal Marcus Jackson, Private First Class Tyler Brooks, and Private Amanda Foster. Good Marines. Experienced, professional. The kind of people you trust with your life. The kind of people who deserved better than what happened to them. We'd been in the mountains for 3 days. Working through scenarios, practicing emergency extraction procedures, learning how to survive in wilderness conditions. It was October, early enough that the weather was still manageable, but late enough that we had to prepare for cold nights. The Smokies were beautiful that time of year. Fall colors at peak. Tourists everywhere on the main trails. But we weren't on the main trails. We were in the backcountry. The deep sections where tourists don't go, where the forest is thick and the mountains are steep, and you can go days without seeing another human being. On day 3, we were working a scenario in a remote ravine about 8 miles from the nearest road. Steep terrain, dense vegetation, the kind of place where if someone actually got injured, extraction would be genuinely challenging. Reynolds had set up a mock rescue situation. We were supposed to locate a victim, stabilize them, and coordinate evacuation. That's when we heard the crying. At first, I thought it was part of the exercise. Reynolds playing audio to make the scenario more realistic. But the sound was wrong. Not like a recording, too organic, too real, and it was coming from deeper in the ravine, not from where Reynolds had set up the scenario. "You guys hear that?" Gutierrez asked, holding up her hand to signal stop. We all heard it. A crying sound, high-pitched, distressed, like a child or maybe an animal. It was hard to tell with the way sound echoed off the ravine walls. "That's not part of the exercise," Reynolds confirmed. "Could be an actual hiker in trouble. Foster, Brooks, stay here and secure our position. Everyone else, let's investigate. Standard search pattern." We moved towards the sound. The crying got louder as we descended into the ravine. It was definitely coming from below us, in a section where the rock walls formed a natural bowl. The vegetation was thick, rhododendron and mountain laurel creating almost impenetrable thickets. "Sounds like a kid," Jackson said. "Maybe a lost child?" But something about the sound made my skin crawl. It was like a child crying, yes, but not quite right. The pitch was off. The rhythm was strange. Like someone who'd learned to cry by listening to humans but wasn't quite human themselves. We pushed through the undergrowth and found it. In a small clearing at the bottom of the ravine, surrounded by fallen logs and moss-covered rocks, was something I'd never seen before. Something I didn't believe could exist. A juvenile Bigfoot. Maybe 4 feet tall, covered in dark reddish-brown hair, face more human-like than ape-like, hands that looked almost like a child's hands but larger, more powerful. And it was injured, its left leg bent at an unnatural angle, clearly broken or badly sprained, and it was crying, making sounds that were so much like a human toddler in distress that every parental instinct I had screamed at me to help. "Holy shit," Chen whispered. Is that real?" We all stood frozen, staring, because this wasn't supposed to exist. Bigfoot was a legend, a myth, a joke, and here was one right in front of us. Young, injured, helpless. The juvenile saw us and the crying intensified. It tried to crawl backward away from us, but the injured leg made it whimper in pain. It was terrified of us, looking at us with eyes that were too intelligent, too aware, too human. I thought about Emma, about how she looked when she fell and hurt herself. That same expression of pain and fear and desperate need for comfort. And this thing in front of me had the exact same expression. "We need to help it," Williams said. "It's injured. It's suffering. We need to report this," Reynolds replied. He was already pulling out his satellite phone. Command had given us one for emergencies. This definitely qualified. Reynolds made the call, spoke to someone at command. I couldn't hear the other side of the conversation, but I heard Reynolds' responses. "Yes, sir. Confirmed visual. Juvenile specimen, approximately 4 feet tall, injured, yes, sir. Alone, as far as we can tell. Understood, yes, sir. We'll secure it." He ended the call, looked at us, and I saw something in his face that made my stomach drop. "Command wants us to capture it," he said. "Bring it in. They're saying this is a groundbreaking discovery, scientific importance, national security implications. They want the creature alive and secured. Capture it?" Gutierrez said. "Sarge, that thing's injured and scared. We should help it and leave it, not capture it." "I don't like it either," Reynolds admitted. "But those are our orders. Command is scrambling a special team to meet us at the extraction point. They want this thing contained and transported to a research facility." I looked at the juvenile. It was still crying, still trying to back away from us. And I thought about Emma, about how she cried when strangers got too close, about how she reached for me when she was scared. "This feels wrong," I said. "That thing's a baby. What if its parents are nearby? What if we're separating it from its family?" "Mitchell, I understand your concerns," Reynolds said. "But we have our orders. We're Marines. We follow orders." Chen was already unpacking rope from his pack. "We can make a makeshift carrier, get it immobilized safely, minimize stress on the injured leg." The juvenile watched us with those too intelligent eyes, and I swear it understood. Understood that we were going to take it. Understood that it was in danger. And the crying changed, became more desperate, more pleading, like Emma when she knew I was leaving for deployment. That heartbroken sound that still haunts me. We approached slowly, carefully. The juvenile tried to crawl away but couldn't move fast with the injured leg. Jackson got behind it, blocking its escape route. Williams approached from the side with a blanket ready to wrap it up, and when Williams got close enough, the juvenile reached out with one small hand. Not to hit or scratch, just reached out, like a child reaching for comfort, like Emma reaching for me when she was scared. Williams hesitated. I saw tears in her eyes. "I can't," she whispered. "I can't do this. This is wrong." "Williams," Reynolds said firmly. "Orders are orders." "This thing has feelings," Williams replied. "Look at it. It's terrified. It's a baby. We're kidnapping someone's baby." "It's not someone," Chen said. "It's something. It's an animal, a cryptid. This is a scientific discovery." "Look at its eyes," I said quietly. "Does that look like just an animal to you?" But orders are orders, and we're Marines. So we did what we were trained to do. We followed commands even when every instinct said it was wrong. Chen and Jackson moved in together. The juvenile thrashed, trying to escape, making sounds that were between crying and screaming. We wrapped it in the blanket, secured it with rope, not tight enough to hurt, but tight enough to contain. And all the while, it was making sounds that tore at my heart. Sounds like Emma when the doctor had to give her shots. That betrayed sound, that "why are you letting them hurt me" sound. We created a makeshift stretcher from branches and the blanket, got the juvenile secured. Its injured leg was swelling badly. It needed medical attention, but instead of helping it and releasing it, we were capturing it. The juvenile's crying had changed. Not frantic anymore, just heartbroken, hopeless, the sound of something that had given up, that understood it was beaten. "Let's move," Reynolds ordered. "We need to get to the extraction point by nightfall. Command wants this thing secured before dark." We started hiking out of the ravine, 4 of us carrying the stretcher with the juvenile, the others securing the perimeter. The creature had stopped struggling, just lay there crying softly. Occasionally it would make sounds that almost sounded like words, like it was trying to call for someone. For its mother, I realized. It was calling for its mother. We'd been hiking for maybe 20 minutes when Jackson stopped. "You guys hear that?" We all stopped, listened. At first, I didn't hear anything unusual. Just normal forest sounds, birds, wind, the juvenile's soft crying. Then I heard it, a distant sound, like wood knocking against wood. Rhythmic, deliberate. "What is that?" Foster asked. Another knock answered, from a different direction. Then another, and another, coming from all around us. Dozens of knocks, a pattern of sounds that wasn't random, that was communication. "Tree knocking," Gutierrez said quietly. "I've read about this. Bigfoot allegedly used tree knocking to communicate over long distances, location signals, territory markers, or calling the family," I said, my stomach sinking. Reynolds pulled out his satellite phone again. "Command, this is Reynolds. We have a situation. We're hearing multiple tree knocks surrounding our position, possibly indicating multiple creatures in the area. Advise." He listened. His face went pale. "Understood. We'll maintain course and speed. But sir, if there are multiple adults responding to the juvenile's cries, we could be in serious danger." "Yes, sir. Proceeding to extraction point." He ended the call, looked at us. "Command says proceed. The extraction team is en route. We just need to get to the landing zone." "Sarge," Williams said, "if that's the baby's family out there, and we're taking their baby, what do you think they're going to do?" "I don't know," Reynolds admitted. "But we have our orders. We move, now, double time, stay alert. Weapons ready, but do not fire unless directly threatened. Remember, these are potentially intelligent beings. We don't want to escalate." We started moving faster. The tree knocking continued, getting closer, getting louder, and I could feel eyes on us, watching from the forest, tracking us. The juvenile sensed it too. Its crying changed, became almost hopeful, started making different sounds, calling out louder. Not distress calls anymore. Location signals. "It's telling them where we are," Chen said. "It's calling to them, leading them to us. Keep moving," Reynolds ordered. The sun was starting to set, shadows growing longer, the forest getting darker. And the tree knocking was all around us now. 50 yards away. Maybe closer. Hard to tell in the thick vegetation. Then we heard the first howl. Not like any animal I'd ever heard. Deep, powerful, full of rage. A sound that made every primitive part of my brain scream, "Run!" "That's the mother," Gutierrez whispered. She knows we have her baby, and she's pissed. The juvenile heard the howl and responded, made a high-pitched cry, and the howl came again, closer, maybe 30 yards away in the darkening forest. "Sarge, we need to release it," Williams said. "We need to put the baby down and back away, before the family attacks." "We have our orders," Reynolds replied, but I could hear the fear in his voice. "Command says—" "Fuck command!" Williams shouted. "We took someone's child. That mother is coming for her baby, and she's not going to stop until she gets it back, or we're all dead." Another howl, this one from a different direction. Deeper, more powerful. The father, maybe. Or another family member, then another. And another 4, 5, 6 distinct howls, all around us, all closing in. We weren't dealing with one Bigfoot, we were surrounded by an entire family group. Multiple adults, all responding to the juvenile's cries, all coming to rescue their family member. And we were in the middle of the forest, in failing light, 8 Marines carrying a crying baby, while its entire family closed in from all sides. I looked down at the juvenile on the stretcher. It was looking toward the forest where the howls were coming from, and on its face, I swear this is true, I saw hope, relief, the expression Emma got when she saw me coming to pick her up at daycare. It knew its family was coming, knew it was going to be rescued, and it knew what was going to happen to us when they arrived. "Sarge," I said quietly, "we made a mistake. A big mistake. We need to release this thing right now, or we're all going to die." Reynolds looked at the darkening forest, at the juvenile, at his team, and I saw him realize the same thing I had. We weren't in a training exercise anymore. We weren't following a command scenario. We were 8 humans who had kidnapped a child from an intelligent species that was bigger, stronger, and angrier than us. And that family was coming, was already here, surrounding us in the darkness. "Set up defensive perimeter," Reynolds ordered. "Williams, Foster, prepare to release the juvenile on my command. Everyone else, weapons ready. If they charge, we fire warning shots first. We do not engage unless absolutely necessary. These are potentially intelligent beings. This is a rescue operation from their perspective. They're trying to save their family member." The tree knocking had stopped. The howls had stopped. The forest had gone silent. Not natural silence. Predator silence. The kind of silence that happens when something big is stalking you. And in that silence, I heard something that made my blood run cold. Footsteps. Multiple sets. Big, heavy, moving through the forest toward our position. Not rushing. Not panicking. Moving with purpose. With coordination. They were surrounding us, cutting off escape routes, preparing to attack or negotiate or whatever they were planning to do, and the juvenile knew, started crying again. But different now, excited crying, relief crying, like Emma when she saw me after I'd been gone for weeks. Its family was here, and they were coming for their baby. Whether we survived the night depended on what we did in the next few minutes. Release the juvenile and hope they let us go, or hold on to it and fight an entire Bigfoot family in the darkness. Reynolds made the decision. "Williams, Foster, cut the ropes, release it, slowly, non-threatening, show them we're giving their baby back." But it was too late for that. Because at that moment something massive moved in the trees ahead of us, and I saw her, the mother, 9 feet tall, maybe 600 pounds, covered in dark brown fur, face that was somehow both ape-like and human-like, arms that could crush a human skull, and eyes that burned with an intelligence and fury that told me everything I needed to know. She wasn't an animal. She was a person, a mother, and we'd taken her child, and now she was here to take it back, no matter what she had to do to us to make that happen. The juvenile saw her and cried out, one word, or something that sounded like a word. Mama. Holy God. It could speak, or at least vocalize something close to speech. The mother howled, a sound of pure maternal rage, a sound that said, "Give me my baby or die." And behind her, emerging from the darkness, were others. The father, siblings, extended family, 7, 8. Maybe more in the trees we couldn't see. An entire family group, all here for one purpose, to rescue the baby we'd taken. Reynolds looked at the mother, at the family surrounding us, at his terrified team, and he shouted the only order that might save us. "Release it, now!" Williams cut the ropes. The juvenile rolled off the stretcher. It tried to stand on its injured leg, whimpered, fell. The mother charged, not at us, at her baby, dropped to her knees beside it, gathered it up in massive arms, examined the injured leg with hands that moved with surprising gentleness. And the baby wrapped its arms around her neck, buried its face in her fur, made sounds of relief and love, and "I knew you'd come." For a moment, everything froze. The mother holding her baby, the family surrounding them, us standing there with weapons we knew wouldn't do anything against 8 adult Bigfoot. Then the mother looked at us, and I saw something in her eyes that was worse than rage, worse than hatred. I saw judgment. I saw her looking at us and understanding exactly what we were, what we'd done, that we'd knowingly taken her child, that we'd hurt her baby. And I saw her make a decision. We'd taken her child. Now there would be consequences. She stood, still holding her baby, looked at the rest of her family, made a sound that was clearly communication. A decision had been made, and as one, the family started moving toward us, not fast, not rushing, just advancing, with purpose, with coordination, like a military unit preparing to engage the enemy. And we were the enemy, because we'd taken one of theirs. And now they were going to take their justice. "Defensive positions," Reynolds shouted. "Fire warning shots. Do not aim at them unless they attack. Fall back toward the extraction point." We started backing away. The family kept advancing, coordinating, flanking, moving like they'd done this before, like they knew how to hunt humans. And the mother, still holding her injured baby, watched us retreat with eyes that promised this wasn't over. We'd taken her child. We'd hurt her baby. And even though she had her child back, even though we'd released it, that wasn't enough. She wanted us to understand what we'd done. Wanted us to feel the fear her baby had felt. Wanted justice. And she was going to get it. We fired warning shots into the air. 3 rounds. The sound echoed through the forest. The Bigfoot family didn't even flinch, just kept advancing, slow, methodical, coordinated. They weren't afraid of guns. Either they didn't understand what guns were, or they understood perfectly and knew we wouldn't actually shoot them. Or maybe they just didn't care. Maybe maternal rage and family loyalty overrode fear of death. "Fall back," Reynolds ordered. "Maintain defensive formation. Brooks, Foster, your rear guard. Everyone else, move toward extraction point. Go. Go. Go." We started retreating through the darkening forest. The family kept pace, not rushing, not giving chase, just following, herding us. And I realized with growing horror that they weren't trying to catch us yet. They were corralling us, driving us somewhere, cutting off escape routes. "They're hunting us," Gutierrez said, voicing what I'd just realized. "This isn't a chase, this is a hunt. They're using pack tactics." She was right. Through the trees I could see movement on our flanks. Two of the family members looked like juveniles, maybe 6 or 7 feet tall, were moving parallel to us, staying just out of sight but keeping pace, cutting off any chance to break left or right. Behind us, the father, had to be the father, massive, 11 feet at least, was following at a distance, blocking retreat, making sure we kept moving forward. And ahead, I saw movement there too. They had members of the family ahead of us. We weren't retreating to safety. We were being driven into a kill zone. "Sarge," I called out. "They're surrounding us. This is a coordinated maneuver. They're boxing us in." "I see it," Reynolds replied grimly. "Chen, Jackson, anything on thermal?" Chen had pulled out a thermal scope, scanned the forest. His face went pale. "Sarge, I'm counting 8 heat signatures. 9, if you count the baby. They're positioned in a perimeter around us. Classic ambush formation. Flankers, rear guard, forward scouts. Whoever's leading this family knows tactics." "That's impossible," Foster said. "These are animals. They don't know military tactics." "Tell that to them," Chen replied, still watching the scope. "Because they're executing a textbook encirclement maneuver." A tree crashed down ahead of us. Massive pine tree, at least 50 feet tall, falling directly across our path. We skidded to a stop. The tree was too big to climb over quickly, too thick to go around without deviating significantly from our route. "They're blocking us," Williams said. "They dropped that tree deliberately to slow us down." Another tree fell to our right, then one to our left, not falling randomly, each one placed precisely to funnel us into a narrower and narrower path, herding us like sheep. "They're intelligent," I said. "Military-level intelligence. They're using environmental manipulation to control our movement, just like we do in urban warfare." Reynolds looked at the fallen trees, at the dark shapes moving in the forest around us, at his team. And I saw him realize what I'd already figured out. We weren't going to make it to the extraction point. The family wasn't going to let us. They were going to pick us off one by one, make us pay for what we'd done to their baby. "New plan," Reynolds said. "We make a stand, right here. Form a defensive circle, backs together. Fields of fire covering all approaches. If they attack, we defend ourselves, but we do not shoot unless directly threatened. These are intelligent beings. They're angry, but maybe we can still de-escalate." We formed up, 8 Marines in a circle, weapons raised, scanning the darkness. The sun had fully set now, only moonlight and our weapon lights to see by. And in that darkness, the Bigfoot family moved like shadows. The tree knocking started again, but different now. Not location signals. Communication. Orders. I could hear the pattern. 3 quick knocks from the north, answered by 2 knocks from the south, then a sequence from the east. "They're coordinating," Chen said. "That's not random. That's tactical communication. They're planning their next move." The mother stepped into the clearing ahead of us, still holding her baby. The juvenile's leg had been splinted. I could see branches tied around the injured limb with what looked like vines. She'd treated her baby's injury, had the knowledge and skill to provide first aid. She made a sound, low, rumbling, not a roar, not a threat, almost like speech, like she was trying to communicate. "I think she's talking to us," Williams whispered. The mother pointed at us, then pointed at the baby, then made a gesture that was universal in any language, the cutting motion across her throat. The meaning was clear. "You hurt my baby, now you pay." "We're sorry," Williams shouted. "We didn't want to take your baby. We were following orders. We gave it back. We're leaving." The mother tilted her head, listening. Understanding the words? Maybe, but it didn't matter. We'd hurt her child, taken her baby, caused her family pain and fear. And in her world, in any parent's world, that demanded justice. She howled, signal, attack command. They came from all sides at once. The father charged from behind. Brooks and Foster turned to engage, fired warning shots. The father didn't slow. Grabbed a tree, full-grown oak, maybe 30 feet tall, and tore it out of the ground like pulling up a weed. Swung it like a club. Brooks dove left. Foster dove right. The tree smashed into the ground between them, branches exploding, bark flying. Foster rolled, came up firing, not at the father, into the air, trying to scare him off. The father grabbed Foster, lifted her off the ground with one hand. She screamed, started beating his arm with her rifle stock. Might as well have been hitting granite. "Put her down!" Reynolds shouted, aiming at the father. "Put her down, or I will fire!" The father looked at Reynolds, made a sound that was almost like laughter. Then threw Foster, not gently, not carefully. Threw her like you'd throw a football. She flew 20 feet through the air, crashed into a tree, fell in a heap. "Foster!" Brooks ran toward her. One of the juvenile Bigfoot came from the side. Smaller than the adults, but still 6 feet tall and massively strong. Intercepted Brooks mid-run. Shoulder checked him like a linebacker. Brooks went down hard, rifle flying. The juvenile stood over him, raised one massive fist. Could have crushed Brooks's skull, but didn't. Just waited, looking back at the mother, waiting for orders. The mother made a sound. The juvenile backed off. Let Brooks crawl away toward Foster, herded him like a sheepdog herding livestock. "They're playing with us," Gutierrez realized. "They could kill us right now. But they're not. They're terrorizing us, making us feel what their baby felt, fear, helplessness, being completely at someone else's mercy." She was right. The family wasn't going for kills. They were demonstrating power, showing us how completely outmatched we were, teaching us a lesson about what happens when you mess with their family. Foster was unconscious. Brooks was dragging her back toward our group, checking her pulse, her breathing. "She's alive. Concussion, maybe broken ribs, but alive." "Fall back to secondary position," Reynolds ordered. "Everyone move. Support Brooks and Foster. Go." We tried to move, but everywhere we turned, a Bigfoot blocked our path, not attacking, just standing there, massive, immovable, forcing us to change direction, hurting us again. "They're driving us somewhere specific," Chen said. "This isn't random. They have a destination in mind." We were being pushed toward a ravine, steep walls on both sides, natural bottleneck, terrible tactical position. If we went in there, we'd be trapped, surrounded, nowhere to run. "Don't go into the ravine," I shouted. "That's a kill zone. They're pushing us into a trap." But we didn't have a choice. Every other direction was blocked by Bigfoot. The ravine was the only open path, and the family knew it. Had planned it, had executed a perfect herding maneuver to force us exactly where they wanted us. We entered the ravine, steep walls rising 30 feet on either side. Narrow floor, maybe 15 feet wide, and as soon as we were all inside, the father appeared at the entrance behind us, blocking escape. 2 juveniles appeared on the ridges above, one on each side, looking down at us, trapping us from above, and at the far end of the ravine, the mother appeared, still holding her baby. The baby was watching us with those 2 intelligent eyes, learning, being taught by its mother how to deal with threats to the family. We were surrounded, trapped. 8 Marines with assault rifles against a Bigfoot family that had outmaneuvered us at every turn. "Defensive positions," Reynolds said quietly. "This is it. This is where we make our stand." The mother set the baby down gently. positioned it behind her, protected. Then she looked at us, and I saw her make a decision. The lesson was over. Now came the punishment. She charged, not slow anymore. Fast, impossibly fast for something that size. Covered the distance in seconds, headed straight for Reynolds. Reynolds fired. Not warning shots this time. Center mass. 3-round burst, the bullets hit her. I saw the impacts, saw her stagger, but she didn't stop, didn't fall, just roared in pain and rage and kept coming. She hit Reynolds like a freight train, swatted his rifle aside like a toy, grabbed him by the throat, lifted him off the ground. He struggled, kicked, gasped for air. "Shoot her!" Jackson screamed, raising his weapon. "No!" I shouted. "You'll hit Reynolds." The mother held Reynolds up, looked at him, and I saw her squeeze. Not hard enough to kill immediately. Hard enough to hurt, to choke, to make him feel what her baby felt when we restrained it. Terror, helplessness, the inability to breathe. Then she threw him, like the father had thrown Foster. Reynolds hit the ravine wall. Fell, didn't move. "Sarge!" Gutierrez ran toward him. The father entered the ravine, charged at Jackson and Chen. They fired, hit him. He roared, but kept coming. Grabbed Jackson, threw him into Chen. Both went down in a tangle. The juveniles jumped down from the ridges, landed in the center of our formation, scattered us. We were no longer a defensive unit. We were individuals running for our lives. Williams was trying to reach Foster. One of the juveniles caught her, grabbed her arm, twisted. I heard the bone snap. Williams screamed. Brooks fired at the juvenile, hit it in the shoulder. The juvenile roared, released Williams, but another adult came from behind Brooks, grabbed him, lifted him, and slammed him into the ground. Once, twice, 3 times. Brooks stopped moving. "Brooks!" I ran toward him. The father blocked my path, stood over Brooks' body, looking at me with eyes that said, "This is what happens. This is justice." I raised my rifle, aimed at his chest. Center mass. I could kill him, had to kill him, but I thought about Emma, thought about the baby watching from behind its mother, thought about what we'd done to start this, and I couldn't pull the trigger, because he was right. This was justice. This was what happened when you took someone's child, when you hurt their family. This was cause and effect. The father saw my hesitation, made a sound that might have been respect, might have been contempt. Then backhanded me, casual, like swatting a fly. I flew backward, crashed into the ravine wall, felt ribs crack. I fell to the ground, couldn't breathe. Vision swimming. Tasted blood. Watched through blurred eyes as the family systematically took apart my team. Chen was trying to climb the ravine wall, get to high ground. The mother grabbed his leg, pulled him down. He fell 15 feet, hit hard, lay still. Jackson was firing wildly, panic firing. The father just walked through the bullets, took the rifle, crushed it in his hands like tinfoil, then grabbed Jackson, held him up, made sure we all saw. This was the lesson. This was what happened. He threw Jackson, not into the wall, straight up. Jackson flew 20 feet into the air, fell, hit the rocks, didn't get back up. Gutierrez had reached Reynolds, was checking his pulse. The mother approached her. Gutierrez looked up, saw the mother, raised her hands. "Please," Gutierrez said. "Please. We're sorry. We didn't know. We were just following orders. Please." The mother paused, looked at Gutierrez, and for a moment I thought she might show mercy, might understand that we were just soldiers following commands, that we weren't the real enemy. Then the baby made a sound, a whimper. Its leg was hurting. The mother looked at her baby, remembered what we'd done. And Mercy vanished. She grabbed Gutierrez. Didn't throw her, did something worse. Held her up so Gutierrez was face to face with her, so Gutierrez could see the intelligence in her eyes, the judgment, the rage. Then she roared, point blank. In Gutierrez's face, a sound so loud, so full of fury, that I felt it in my chest from 20 feet away. Gutierrez went limp, shock maybe, terror. The mother set her down almost gently. Didn't kill her, just broke her. Made her understand what her baby had felt. That absolute terror of being at someone else's mercy. I tried to stand, couldn't. Ribs broken, probably internal bleeding. I could only watch as the family stood over my broken team. Reynolds unconscious or dead. Foster unconscious. Brooks unconscious or dead. Chen unconscious or dead. Jackson unconscious or dead. Gutierrez curled in a fetal position, whimpering. Williams clutching her broken arm. Me with broken ribs, and probably worse. 8 Marines. Neutralized in under 5 minutes by a Bigfoot family using coordinated tactics and overwhelming force. The mother walked back to her baby, picked it up gently, held it close, made soothing sounds. The baby buried its face in her fur. Safe, protected, home. She looked at us, at the Marines scattered across the ravine floor, at what her family had done to us. And I saw satisfaction in her eyes. Justice had been served. We'd hurt her baby. Now we'd been hurt. But she wasn't done. She made a sound. The family gathered around her, and they started making sounds that were almost like speech, discussing, deciding, planning what to do with us. The juveniles wanted to finish us. I could tell from their body language. They were young, angry, wanted to kill the things that had hurt their sibling. But the mother and father made sounds that were clearly no, held the juveniles back. They'd made their point, taught their lesson. We were broken, but not dead. Yet. The mother made one final sound, command. The family started to withdraw, backing away, disappearing into the darkness. But not far. I could still see shapes in the trees. They weren't leaving, just giving us space, letting us tend our wounded, letting us understand the full scope of what they'd done to us, letting us sit with the knowledge that they could have killed us all, but chose not to. Because killing us would be mercy, and they wanted us to suffer, wanted us to carry this fear for the rest of our lives, wanted us to remember what it felt like to be completely powerless, to have your life in someone else's hands, to be at the mercy of something bigger and stronger and angrier than you, just like their baby had been at our mercy. I crawled toward Williams. She was conscious, cradling her broken arm. "How bad?" I asked. "Compound fracture. Bones through the skin. I need evac. We all need evac." I pulled out my radio, tried to call command. Static. The radio was broken, smashed when the father hit me. "Anyone have working comms?" I called out. No answer, just groans and whimpers from my injured teammates. We were in a ravine, 8 miles from the nearest road. Multiple casualties. No working communication equipment. Night falling. And a Bigfoot family watching us from the darkness, deciding whether we'd suffered enough or if they wanted to inflict more pain. I thought about Emma, about how I'd told her daddy would be home soon, about how she'd cried when I left for training, about how she'd asked me not to go, and I realized I might never see her again. Might die here in this ravine, killed by a family protecting their baby from the monsters who'd taken it. Except we were the monsters, not them. We'd kidnapped their child, hurt it, terrified it, and now we were paying the price. In the darkness, I heard the baby making sounds. Comfortable sounds. Safe sounds. its mother responding with gentle rumbles, the family protecting it, caring for it, doing what families do. And I realized they weren't monsters at all. They were people, different from us, but still people, with families and feelings and the same protective instincts any parent would have. We'd taken their baby, and they'd done what any parent would do. They'd fought back. They'd rescued their child. They'd made us understand what we'd done. And now they were deciding whether to finish us or let us live with the guilt. I looked at my broken team, at Reynolds lying unconscious, at Brooks who hadn't moved since the father slammed him into the ground, at Jackson who'd fallen 20 feet, at Chen, at Foster, at Gutierrez broken psychologically even if not physically. 6 Marines down, maybe dead, probably dead, because we'd followed orders to capture a baby, because we'd thought we were special, better than nature, above consequences, and a Bigfoot family had taught us differently, had taught us that their love for their baby was stronger than our weapons, their coordination better than our training, their rage more powerful than our orders. In the darkness, the mother howled, not a threat, a declaration, a statement. This is my family, this is my baby, and I will do anything to protect them. And 8 Marines had learned that lesson the hardest way possible. Night in that ravine was the longest of my life. Longer than any combat deployment. Longer than any training evolution. Because in combat, you know who the enemy is. You know you're doing the right thing, you have purpose. In that ravine, I knew we were the monsters, and we were paying for it. Williams and I were the only ones mobile. Everyone else was down. Some unconscious, some groaning in pain, some not moving at all. I crawled to Reynolds first. Found a pulse. Weak, but there. His neck was bruised where the mother had choked him. Possible spinal damage from being thrown into the wall. But alive. Foster was next, unconscious, breathing shallow. Possible internal bleeding. She needed a hospital, needed it hours ago. Brooks was bad. The father had slammed him into the ground 3 times. Full force. I found a pulse, but his breathing was wrong. Wet, raspy, probably collapsed lung. Maybe worse. Blood coming from his nose and ears. Brain damage likely. Jackson had no pulse. I checked 3 times. Tried CPR, nothing. He'd fallen 20 feet onto rocks after being thrown straight up. Neck broken. Dead on impact, probably. 23 years old. Joined the Marines because he wanted to serve his country. Died in a ravine because we'd kidnapped a baby. Chen was alive but unconscious. Possible concussion from the 15-foot fall. His left arm was bent wrong. Broken in multiple places. Gutierrez was conscious but unresponsive. Staring at nothing. Rocking back and forth. The mother's roar had done something to her. Broken something inside. She'd seen too much intelligence in those eyes. Too much judgment. Too much proof that we were wrong. I sat against the ravine wall next to Williams. Both of us broken. Both of us knowing we might not survive the night. Jackson's dead, I told her quietly. She closed her eyes, tears running down her face. This is my fault. I said we should help the baby. I'm the one who started this. You wanted to help it, I replied, not capture it. This is Command's fault. They gave the order. We just followed it. We could have refused. We're Marines. We follow orders. Even when orders are wrong, even when following them means taking someone's baby. I didn't have an answer for that. Because she was right. We'd followed orders blindly. Hadn't questioned. Hadn't considered consequences. And now Jackson was dead. Brooks was dying. The rest of us were broken. In the darkness beyond the ravine, I heard movement. The family was still out there, watching, waiting, deciding what to do with us. "Why haven't they finished us?" Williams asked. "They could kill us all right now. Why let us suffer?" "Because killing us would be quick," I said. "They want us to understand, to really feel what we did." Their baby was terrified for hours, crying for its mother, not knowing if it would be okay. They want us to feel that same terror, that same helplessness. "We deserve it," Williams said softly. "Yeah, we do." The hours crawled by. Brooks's breathing got worse, wet, gurgling. He was drowning in his own blood. I tried to help, tried to position him to drain, but without medical equipment, without a hospital, he was going to die. "Mitchell," he whispered at one point. His eyes opened, unfocused. "Tell my mom. Tell her I love her. Tell her I'm sorry I won't be home for Christmas." "You're going to tell her yourself," I said. "Extraction is coming. Command knows we're missing. They'll send help." "Liar," he smiled, blood on his teeth. "It's okay. I get it now. We hurt their baby. This is fair. This is justice. Brooks, stay with me. Don't give up." "Not giving up, just tired, so tired. And it hurts less when I sleep. So I'm going to sleep now. Okay?" "Okay, Brooks, sleep. I'll keep watch." He closed his eyes. His breathing got slower, shallower. And at 0237 hours, I was tracking time by my watch because I needed something to focus on, something to ground me. Brooks stopped breathing. I checked for a pulse. Nothing. Tried CPR. Nothing. Brooks was gone. 21 years old. Wanted to be a teacher after his service was up. Coached kids basketball in his hometown. Died in a ravine because of a bad order and our blind obedience. "He's gone," I told Williams. She just nodded, didn't cry. I think we were beyond tears, beyond normal emotional responses. We were in shock, trauma, just existing minute by minute. 2 dead. 6 alive but broken. And no rescue coming because our comms were destroyed and Command wouldn't realize we were in serious trouble until we missed our scheduled check-in at 0600 hours. 4 more hours. If we could survive 4 more hours, help would come. Maybe. I thought about Emma, about her sleeping in her bed right now. Safe, protected, not knowing her daddy was dying in a ravine. I pulled out my phone, miraculously not broken, and looked at her picture. Her smile, her eyes. I'd taken someone else's baby, someone else's Emma, and that baby's mother had come for it, had fought for it, had broken us to get it back. If someone took Emma, I'd do the same thing. Worse, probably. I'd kill anyone who touched my daughter, wouldn't stop until I got her back. Wouldn't care about consequences or laws or right and wrong. Just like the Bigfoot mother. She'd done what any parent would do, what I would do, what anyone would do for their child. We weren't the victims here, we were the perpetrators. And this wasn't murder, it was justice. The baby made sounds in the darkness. Comfortable sounds, safe sounds, with its family where it belonged. We'd tried to take it away from that, tried to put it in a cage and study it like an animal. And its family had taught us what happens when you try to take someone's child. At 0600 hours, I heard helicopters, distant at first, then closer. Command had realized we'd missed check-in, was sending search and rescue. "Help's coming," I told Williams. "We're going to make it." In the darkness, the Bigfoot family heard it too. I heard movement, communication. They were discussing what to do, attack the helicopter, let it land, finish us before rescue arrived. The mother appeared at the edge of the ravine, looking down at us, At Jackson's body, at Brooks's body, at the 6 injured Marines, at the consequences of what we'd done. The helicopter got louder, approaching fast, maybe 2 minutes out. The mother made a decision. She howled. Not a threat, a signal. The family retreated into the forest, leaving the ravine clear, allowing rescue to happen. She could have stopped it, could have killed us all before the helicopter arrived, could have attacked the helicopter itself. But she didn't. She let rescue come. Let us live. Because dead, we couldn't tell the story. Dead, we couldn't warn others. Dead, we couldn't carry the guilt and knowledge of what happens when you take a Bigfoot baby. She wanted us to live, to remember, to tell everyone we met. Don't fuck with their families. Don't take their children. They're not animals. They're people. And they will make you pay. The helicopter landed in a clearing 50 yards from the ravine. Search and rescue team rappelled down. Medics, rangers, armed security. They found us quickly, started triage immediately. We have 2 KIA, the medic called out. 6 wounded, multiple critical. We need immediate evac, all of them. They loaded Foster first. She was worst off besides the dead. Then Chen. Then Gutierrez, still unresponsive, still broken. Then Reynolds, still unconscious. Then Williams. Then me. What about Jackson and Brooks? I asked as they strapped me to a stretcher. Recovery team will get them, the medic said. Right now, we're focused on getting the living out. They carried us to the helicopter, loaded us in. I looked back at the ravine as we lifted off, saw Jackson and Brooks lying where they'd fallen, saw the recovery team moving toward them, and I saw the Bigfoot family emerge from the forest, not attacking the recovery team, just standing there, watching. The mother was holding her baby. The father stood beside her. The rest of the family spread out behind them. The recovery team saw them, froze, raised weapons. Nobody fired, nobody moved. Just a standoff. Humans and Bigfoot staring at each other across a ravine floor stained with blood. Then the mother did something that made my blood run cold. She walked to Jackson's body. The recovery team tensed. Fingers on triggers. The mother reached down, picked up Jackson, carried him back toward her family. "They're taking the body," someone on the helicopter shouted. "Command, subjects are removing human remains." The father walked to Brooks's body, picked it up, carried it back. "Stop them," the helicopter pilot shouted. "Fire warning shots, get those bodies back." "Negative," I screamed. "Do not fire. Stand down. Let them take the bodies." "Corporal, those are Marines. We don't leave Marines behind. We already left them behind. We left them behind when we followed a bad order. Those bodies are the price. That's what we owe for taking their baby. Let them keep the bodies." The pilot looked at me, at the blood covering my uniform, at the broken look in my eyes, made a decision. "All units, hold fire. I repeat, hold fire. Let the subjects take the remains." The mother and father carried Jackson and Brooks into the forest. The rest of the family followed, disappeared into the trees, taking our dead with them. "Why would they take the bodies?" Williams asked beside me. "Message," I said. "Warning. You took our baby. We take your family. Equivalent exchange. Justice. And now everyone will know what happens. Everyone will understand the cost." The helicopter pulled away from the ravine, headed toward the nearest hospital. I watched the forest disappear below us, watched the great Smoky Mountains fade into the distance, knowing that somewhere down there, a Bigfoot family was burying or keeping or doing whatever they did with Jackson and Brooks, our brothers, our friends, lost because we'd followed orders without question, because we'd valued obedience over ethics, because we'd taken someone's child. At the hospital, they separated us, different rooms, different doctors. I had 4 broken ribs, internal bruising, concussion, and severe trauma. Reynolds had spinal damage. Foster had internal bleeding and skull fracture. Chen had traumatic brain injury. Williams had compound fracture and nerve damage. Gutierrez had complete psychological breakdown. Jackson and Brooks were dead and gone. Their bodies never recovered. The Marine Corps listed them as KIA, killed in action, even though there was no action, just consequence. Command came 3 days later. Officers I'd never met, serious faces, recording devices. They wanted to know what happened, wanted our report, wanted to understand how a routine training exercise had resulted in 2 dead Marines and 6 critically wounded. I told them everything. The baby, the capture order, the family's response, the tactical coordination, the calculated violence, the intelligence in their eyes, the fact that they could have killed us all but chose not to, the fact that they took our dead as payment for what we'd done. They didn't believe me at first. Thought it was trauma, confusion, hallucination. Until Williams gave the same report, then Chen, then Gutierrez, when she was finally able to speak 3 weeks later, then Reynolds. 5 Marines with the same impossible story. 5 survivors all saying, "We took a Bigfoot baby. The family came for it. They didn't just attack, they hunted us, coordinated, tactical, intelligent. They took 2 of our Marines as payment for what we did to their baby. Command classified the incident, sealed the reports, listed Jackson and Brooks as training accident fatalities, gave all of us medical discharges on psychological grounds, made us sign NDAs, told us never to speak about what really happened. They were afraid of the implications, afraid of what it meant that there were intelligent beings in the forests that we didn't control. That couldn't be contained. That would fight back if we threatened them. That understood justice and consequence and equivalent exchange. That understood family the same way we do, and would protect it with the same lethal determination. I was discharged 6 weeks later. Medical retirement. Broken ribs had healed. Concussion had resolved. Physical trauma was manageable. But psychological trauma? That was permanent. I couldn't be a Marine anymore. Couldn't follow orders without questioning. Couldn't trust authority. Couldn't forget what I'd done. Williams was discharged the same day. Her arm had been repaired, but nerve damage meant she couldn't hold a rifle properly anymore. Medical disqualification. But we both knew the real reason. They wanted us gone. Wanted us separated. Wanted to make sure we didn't talk. Didn't spread the story, didn't make the Marine Corps look bad. Reynolds was paralyzed from the neck down. Medical retirement, spinal damage was too severe. He'd spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair because a Bigfoot mother had choked him and thrown him into a wall for taking her baby. Foster had brain damage from the internal bleeding. Would never fully recover. Medical retirement, disability benefits, and lifelong guilt for surviving when Jackson and Brooks didn't. Chen had permanent memory issues from his traumatic brain injury. Couldn't remember the incident clearly. Maybe that was mercy. Maybe forgetting was better than remembering. Medical retirement. Gutierrez never recovered psychologically. She'd looked into the mother's eyes and seen too much. Understood too much. Couldn't reconcile what we'd done with who she thought we were. Had a complete breakdown, institutionalized. Eventually took her own life 6 months later. Couldn't live with the guilt. Couldn't live with understanding that we'd been the monsters. 7 victims if you count Gutierrez. 2 dead and taken. 5 wounded and broken. And 1 Bigfoot baby that went home to its family with an injured leg and traumatic memories that it would carry forever. All because command gave a bad order. All because we followed it without question. All because we thought capturing a baby was just science, discovery, national security, all because we forgot that mothers protect their babies. All mothers, human or not. And if you take someone's child, they will come for you. They will make you pay. They will show you what you really are. Not heroes, not soldiers, not discoverers, monsters, and monsters get what they deserve. I came home on a Tuesday, November 2023, 6 weeks after the incident. Medical discharge paperwork finalized. Disability benefits processed, NDA signed, free to go home to my family, except I wasn't free. I'd never be free again. My wife Jennifer was waiting at the airport. Emma was with her, 26 months old. She'd grown in the 6 weeks I'd been gone, gotten taller, hair longer, still had that smile that used to light up my world. She saw me and ran. "Daddy!" I knelt down, let her crash into me, felt her tiny arms wrap around my neck, smelled her hair, heard her crying happy tears because Daddy was finally home. And all I could think about was another baby, 4 feet tall, covered in reddish-brown hair, crying for its mother while we tied it up and carried it away. That same desperate need for comfort. That same trust that Mommy or Daddy would make everything okay. Except we hadn't made it okay. We'd been the monsters making it worse. Emma pulled back, looked at my face. Her smile faded. "Daddy sad?" "No, baby. Daddy's just tired." "Daddy hurt?" She touched my chest where the ribs had been broken. Somehow she knew. Kids always know. "A little, but I'm okay now. I'm home. That's what matters." Jennifer drove us home. Asked careful questions. How was I feeling? Did the doctors say I'd be okay? What happened exactly? They'd told her training accident, multiple casualties, classified details. She knew I couldn't talk about it. But she could see something was wrong, could see I'd come back different. That night, Emma wanted me to put her to bed. Our ritual. I'd read her a story, sing her a song, stay until she fell asleep. She loved that time with Daddy, felt safe, protected. I read Goodnight Moon, her favorite. She snuggled against me, sucked her thumb. That peace that kids have when they're with their parents. That absolute trust that nothing bad can happen when Mommy or Daddy is there. And I thought about a baby Bigfoot trusting its mother to protect it. And the mother came. Fought an entire Marine unit. Broke us. Got her baby back because that's what mothers do. That's what parents do. What I would do if someone took Emma. What the Bigfoot mother did when we took her baby. Emma fell asleep. I stayed there watching her breathe. So small, so vulnerable, so dependent on me to keep her safe. And I'd failed someone else's baby. Failed to protect it. Failed to do the right thing. Failed to be the person my daughter thought I was. I cried for the first time since the incident. Sitting in Emma's room, watching her sleep. Knowing I didn't deserve to be her father anymore. Knowing I'd done something unforgivable. The nightmares started that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the baby Bigfoot crying. Saw its mother's eyes full of rage and judgment. Saw Jackson thrown 20 feet into the air. Saw Brooks dying while whispering about Christmas. Saw Gutierrez broken and staring at nothing. I'd wake up screaming. Jennifer would hold me, ask what was wrong. I couldn't tell her, couldn't explain, classified, NDA. But more than that, couldn't admit what I'd done. Couldn't say the words, "I kidnapped a baby and got my friends killed." During the day, I'd try to be normal, try to be Daddy, play with Emma, change diapers, feed her, do all the things fathers do. But every time she cried, and toddlers cry a lot, I'd hear the Bigfoot baby. Every time she reached for me for comfort, I'd remember another baby reaching out from a blanket we'd wrapped around it. Every time she said Daddy with that absolute trust, I'd think about betraying that trust, about what happens when you fail to protect a child. One morning, Emma fell. Just a normal toddler stumble. Hit her knee on the coffee table. Started crying. Came running to me for comfort. I picked her up, held her, and I broke down. Started sobbing. Couldn't stop. Because I'd hurt someone else's baby. Taken it from its mother, made it cry like Emma was crying, made it scared and hurt and desperate for Mommy. Daddy? Emma patted my face, confused, scared because Daddy was crying and that wasn't normal. Daddy was supposed to make things better, not make them worse. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm so sorry. I didn't protect you. I didn't protect anyone. I'm sorry. Jennifer took Emma, looked at me with concern. James, you need help. You need to talk to someone. This isn't normal grief. This is trauma. You need therapy. She was right. The VA set me up with a therapist, someone with military experience, trauma specialist. I tried to talk about it, tried to explain without breaking the NDA, tried to process the guilt. You followed orders, the therapist said. You were doing your job. You can't blame yourself for following commands. What if the orders were wrong? What if I knew they were wrong and followed them anyway? Then that's on command, not you. You're a soldier. Following orders is what you do. I kidnapped a baby. I hurt a family. People died because of it. How is that not my fault? You didn't give the order. You didn't create the situation. You were following protocol. But protocol doesn't make it right. Following orders doesn't absolve guilt. And knowing that other people made the bad decision doesn't change the fact that I executed it. I tied up that baby. I carried it away from its home. I made its mother fight to get it back. That's on me. Not command, me. Williams called once a week. We'd check in, make sure the other was still alive, still hanging on. Neither of us was doing well. I can't hold my nephew, she told me one day. My sister asked me to babysit. I looked at her 2-year-old son and all I could see was it, the baby, we took. I had a panic attack, had to leave. My sister thinks I'm crazy, thinks the injury broke me, and maybe it did, but not the way she thinks. Same, I told her. Emma cries and I hear that other baby, crying for its mother. And I realize we're the reason it cries at night. We're the reason it's probably scared of humans forever. We traumatized someone's child. And now I can't be a normal father because I know what I did to someone else's family. Mitchell, we can't keep living like this. The guilt is going to kill us. Gutierrez proved that. We have to find a way to make peace with it. How? How do you make peace with kidnapping a baby? With getting your friends killed over a bad order? With knowing you're the monster in someone else's story? She didn't have an answer. Neither did I. Reynolds called from his care facility. Paralyzed. Wheelchair-bound. Voice therapy helping him speak again after the neck damage. Mitchell, I've been thinking about what happened, about what we did, and I've decided something. What's that, Sarge? We need to tell people. Not officially, not breaking the NDA, but quietly, through veteran networks, through other Marines. We need to warn them, need to make sure this never happens again. Warn them about what? About Bigfoot families. About what happens if you threaten their young. About the fact that they're intelligent, coordinated, that they understand tactics and justice and equivalent exchange. Command wants to keep it quiet, wants to pretend it was just a training accident. But more Marines will encounter them, more units will train in those mountains, and if they make the same mistake we did, they'll die, or wish they had. He was right. We had a responsibility, not to break classification, but to warn, to educate, to make sure other Marines understood what we'd learned the hard way. So we did, quietly. Through encrypted messages to unit commanders we trusted, through conversations with active duty friends, through the informal networks that exist in military culture. We spread the word. Bigfoot exists. They're intelligent. They have families. They protect their young. If you encounter them, observe from a distance and leave. Never capture. Never threaten. Never take their young. Because if you do, they will come for you, and you will lose. Some people believed us. Others thought it was PTSD, trauma-induced delusion, conspiracy theory. But enough believed to make a difference, enough to change protocols, enough to add addendums to training doctrines for wilderness operations. If you encounter unknown wildlife, particularly large primates, maintain distance and do not engage. Report sightings but do not pursue. Unknown creatures may exhibit defensive, territorial behavior. It wasn't much, but it was something. A small attempt to make sure what happened to us didn't happen to others. The Great Smoky Mountains have seen increased missing persons reports since October 2023. More than usual. Hikers going into the backcountry and never coming back. Search teams finding abandoned gear but no bodies. The Park Service is baffled. Theories range from serial killer to unusual wildlife to people just getting lost. But I know the truth. The Bigfoot families are protecting their territory more aggressively now. After what we did, after we proved humans will capture their young, they're not taking chances anymore. They're eliminating threats, removing humans who get too close to their families, keeping us away from areas where their young live. And I don't blame them. I'd do the same thing. If aliens came down and took Emma and I somehow survived getting her back, I'd make damn sure no alien ever got close to my family again. I'd be hypervigilant, aggressive, protective to the point of violence. That's what we created. That's the consequence of our actions. Not just 2 dead Marines and 6 broken survivors. An entire species now viewing humans as child kidnappers, as threats, as enemies. We made things worse for everyone. For the Bigfoot families who now have to live in fear. For the hikers who wander into protected territory and disappear. For the Marines who might encounter them in training. For future generations who might have had peaceful contact with an intelligent species but now will only have conflict. All because we followed an order we knew was wrong. Emma just turned 3, had a birthday party. Friends came over. She played with other kids, laughed, smiled, blew out candles on her cake. She's happy, healthy, growing up normal. She doesn't know her daddy is broken, doesn't understand why sometimes daddy holds her too tight and cries, doesn't know what daddy did to someone else's baby. Jennifer knows something's wrong. Knows I'm not the same person who left for training in October 2023. She's asked for marriage counseling. Asked me to open up. Tell her what happened. Help her understand so she can help me. But I can't. Can't break the NDA. Can't admit the truth. Can't say, I kidnapped an intelligent being's baby because command told me to. And the mother came for it and broke me and killed my friends and took their bodies as payment, and now I can't look at our daughter without remembering another baby crying for its mother while we tied it up and carried it away. So I lie. Say it was combat. Say we lost friends. Say I saw things that are classified. She knows I'm lying, but she doesn't push, just holds me when the nightmares come. Just gives me space when I need it. Just loves me even though I don't deserve it. Last week, Emma fell again. Scraped her knee. Came crying to me. I picked her up, kissed her knee, made it better. She stopped crying, smiled at me, said, Daddy's magic. Daddy makes hurts go away. And I thought about another baby, about how its mother had to make its hurts go away, had to treat an injured leg we'd caused by capturing it, had to comfort it after we'd terrified it, had to fix what we'd broken. Except we'd broken more than a leg. We'd broken trust, broken safety, broken that baby's belief that the world was a good place where families protect each other and strangers don't hurt you, just like I'd broken myself. Emma looked at my face, saw tears, asked the question she asks more and more now. Why is Daddy sad all the time? Daddy made mistakes, I told her, big mistakes, and now Daddy has to live with them. It's okay, she said, patting my face. Everybody makes mistakes. That's what you tell me when I spill juice. Mistakes are okay. Not all mistakes, baby. Some mistakes hurt people. Some mistakes can't be fixed. But you're still good Daddy, even with mistakes. I held her, my perfect, innocent daughter, who thought I was a hero, who trusted me completely, who didn't know that Daddy was a monster who'd kidnapped someone's baby and got people killed. And I made a promise, to her, to myself, to the Bigfoot baby I'd harmed. I would never follow a bad order again. Never do something wrong just because authority told me to. Never hurt someone weaker or take something that didn't belong to me. Never be the monster again. It doesn't fix what I did. Doesn't bring back Jackson and Brooks. Doesn't erase the trauma I caused that Bigfoot family. Doesn't make me worthy of Emma's trust. But it's all I have. A promise to be better. To think before obeying. To protect the innocent instead of harming them. To remember that every baby, human or not, deserves to be safe with their family. And anyone who threatens that deserves what the Bigfoot mother gave us. Justice. If you're in the military and you're reading this, understand something. Orders aren't always right. Authority isn't always ethical. And if you're ever told to do something that feels wrong, that violates basic morality, that hurts the innocent, that separates families, you have a choice. You can follow orders, or you can do what's right. We chose wrong, and we'll pay for it for the rest of our lives. If you're a hiker, a camper, someone who goes into wild places, if you find a baby animal, leave it alone. Even if it seems injured, even if it seems abandoned, its family is nearby, its mother is watching, and if you take it, if you try to rescue it or help it or capture it, that mother will come for it, and she will not be forgiving. She will not accept excuses. She will get her baby back and she will make you pay for taking it. That's not evil. That's not monsters. That's family. That's love. That's what any parent would do. And we were stupid enough to forget that lesson. Stupid enough to think a baby Bigfoot was just an animal, just a specimen, just a discovery. It was someone's child, and its mother fought for it, and she won. And she was right to do it. The Great Smoky Mountains are beautiful this time of year. Fall colors, cool air, perfect hiking weather. Thousands of tourists will visit. Most will have wonderful experiences. Beautiful views, memorable trips, safe returns home. But some won't come back. Some will wander into the wrong area. Get too close to families that remember what humans did to their baby. Families that won't risk it happening again. And if you're one of the ones who doesn't come back, if you disappear into those mountains and they find your gear but not your body, understand this. You're not a victim, you're a consequence, a reminder, a warning to others. Stay away from their families, don't touch their young. Give them space and respect, and they'll leave you alone. But threaten them, capture their babies, hurt their family. And you'll learn what we learned, that mothers protect their babies. All mothers, human or Bigfoot. And they don't care about your authority or your orders or your justifications. They only care about their child. and they will do anything, anything to get it back and keep it safe. We learned that lesson in blood and broken bodies and dead friends and guilt that will never fade. Don't make the same mistake we did. Emma just called from her room. Woke up from a nap, calling for Daddy. That sleepy voice, that trust that Daddy will come, that absolute belief that I'll always be there to protect her and keep her safe and make everything okay. I'm going to go to her now, pick her up, hold her, tell her I love her, try to be the father she thinks I am, even though I'm not. Even though I'm broken, even though I did something unforgivable to someone else's child. But I'll try. For her. For Emma. For the baby I hurt and can never apologize to. For Jackson and Brooks who died because of my choices. For all of us who learned too late what it means to be the monster in someone else's story. I'll try to be better. Try to protect instead of harm. Try to love instead of follow orders blindly. Try to remember that every baby crying for their mother deserves to have that mother come for them, even if the mother is 9 feet tall and covered in fur and can break a Marine unit with her bare hands, especially then. Because that's what real monsters forget. Love is stronger than weapons. Family is stronger than orders. And a mother's fury is the most powerful force in the world. We forgot, and we paid, and will keep paying, forever.